All right. Hello there, Kids Quest crew. We are live at the home lab today. I have a big mess that I've made and I've got to clean it up to see if we are on for tomorrow's class live at Kids Quest Lab. So the mess that I have is I was actually doing some stuff today and I left the top off of my iron filings here. And unfortunately, I hit it with my hand and I dropped it all over the message that I had that was written for me to tell me whether or not we're on for tomorrow. So I'm going to show you what it looks like here. You see that? It's a big mess right here of a whole bunch of iron filings. And I've been trying to figure out what in the world we're going to do to clean that up. So I was thinking this week we actually had an experiment that might work. We actually had an experiment on how to make an electromagnet. Now, I don't know if any of you guys were able to do that this week, but I went ahead and I tried and made an electromagnet today. So I actually tried and I did two different magnets. I did this one here, and it's a big, huge bolt, and I used really thick copper wiring. So the wiring is 14 gauge copper wiring. So I got a big bolt, I wrapped it, as you can see here. Not too good. I just kind of willy-nillied it, kind of wrapped it up, and didn't do a very good job, but I figured since it was big and since the copper was bigger, that it would probably work. Then I also made me a littler one. Now this one is made out of a nail, and this one has 18 gauge wire. But if you happen to notice, I did a really nice job wrapping this one, almost from top to bottom with the wire. And so I don't know which one's going to work best, but what do you think? What one do you think is going to work best? So I'm going to have to put my camera down a little bit here, and we're going to test out both of them. All right. So I'm going to bring my camera down so that you guys can see here. And I've got myself a little hinge here made out of metal. And we're going to test this big one out first. And the experiment that I sent out this week showed that if you wrapped up a metal piece with copper wire and you connected it to a D battery, it would actually become what's called an electromagnet. So I want to show you guys first that if I tap this, nothing happens. If you see here, nothing happens. So let's go ahead, connect our electromagnet to this great big huge one with the great big huge copper and see if it turned into a magnet. Look at that. Well, it's not a very good magnet, but it does have a little bit of magnetism to it, because if I take it off of the battery and I try it, no magnetism at all. So then I thought I'd go ahead and we'll try this small one. This one it's a smaller nail and it's got the smaller copper wiring on it, but I did a lot better job wrapping it. So let's go ahead and see if the smaller one connected to the battery does any better. So let's see what we got here. Look at that. Way better battery magnet there. Way better electromagnet. It's actually able to pick up that whole hinge. Even though it's smaller, even though the copper is smaller, it's a lot more powerful magnet. So what I'm hoping for here is that it will also allow me to get rid of all these iron filings that dropped on to our paper here to reveal whether or not we're going to have class tomorrow. So let's see if it works. Let's see if I'm able. Look at that. I'm going to take this and put it over here on this piece of paper. And I'm going to collect all these iron filings. And I'm going to see what our message is. And this is way better than having to try to figure out how to get all of those little tiny pieces off without a magnet. This is doing an awfully good job. There we go. We're almost there. We almost got the whole thing cleaned up. Just a little bit more. There we go. And our message is completely clear. And what's it say? I think this is going to be backwards for you guys because we're on a camera here. But it says, go for it, 3 p.m. So we are excited for tomorrow. We actually have a scripture for today's little experiment. It says Proverbs 15:28, the heart of the righteous ponders how to answer. And then Proverbs 22:17 says, incline your ear and hear the words of the wise and apply your mind to knowledge. And that's what I had to do today. Today I had to kind of apply that mind to some of the knowledge that I've been learning through the week with the experiments that we've been doing. And sometimes we have to do that with the active Christian life too. Sometimes we get into a rut or we get into circumstances that totally shock us and stop us in our tracks with our active Christian life. And then we have to kind of think. We have to kind of listen. That last part says, incline your ear and hear the words of the wise. Sometimes we have to listen to other people and we have to get ideas from other people on how to deal with situations. But in this experiment today, I also wanted you kids to see that I know that you guys sometimes think I'm too small, I'm too young to be able to have an active Christian life. And as we saw today, even though this bolt was way bigger, even though we used a way bigger gauge of copper, the smaller one wrapped with the smaller copper did a way better job. And you know what? None of you guys are too young to have an active Christian life. All of you guys are important to God's kingdom. And no matter what age you're at, God has a place for you in our church and in our lives. And he wants you to have an active Christian life. So just take that with you into tomorrow. And remember, we're working with Homopolar Motors. I put out a list of ingredients that you would need for that on Wednesday. I hope to see you then. We got to go ahead. Thanks. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody.